version of the Echo Show. I think it was $40 from Amazon. It was one of those Prime Day specials.
Right.
And I'm setting up the house to use those. Do you have to have some sort of either the show or the dot or something in each room that you want to automate?
No,
No, you don't have to have it in each room. Why? Yeah, whatever rooms you want. It's interesting. I have a situation in our kitchen where I got to get rid of one of my Echo shows because I've got two in the kitchen. One, of course, is on my new TV, which is the which we've talked about before, which is the new Fire Omicron TV, and it's but I've also got another new show that I bought because Jim, I can't stop buying these things. They're so cheap, and they're unbelievable. I just buy another one, so I got two sitting in there. But it's interesting because they don't conflict. They actually talk to one another and figure out when I say start TV, then they actually get the right one answers. It's sort of cool. It's quite amazing technology how they've done it.
no, but to answer his question, I have some outside lights that I have controlled by Miss A, and I just say to Miss A, turn on the front light or turn on the back light, and it'll turn those lights on. I'll tell it to turn on the living room light, or I'll tell it to turn on the bedroom light. Doesn't
Right.
matter.
No,
And then I have one of the smaller units, the dot in the bedroom, and I call it ECHO instead of Miss A. And so when I talk to it, I can tell it to do the same thing for any of those items as well.
Oh, so you can actually change the response from Alexa to
Oh, yeah.
anything you want. Is that it?
anything.
No,
Well,
there's
they have
three.
certain-
There's three things it'll recognize: Miss A, ECHO, and the word computer. Boy, that's a word I don't want to use as my key word because I say computer, the word computer a lot.
Well, it's funny. I had a physical therapist come by, and her name was Alexis,
Yeah.
and she said, "Be careful if you've got the LAXEA, because I'm LAXEAIS," and it recognized her name as Alexa.
Yeah.
All the Jim, all the Miss A apps or all the Miss A devices are controlled by the Alexa app on your phone. So the whole thing all runs off the app. So that's all you have to do. Anything you have, whether it's the doorbell, the TV, whatever it is, it's all run off that one app.
Well, can you register it with another? Like, I want to have my wife handle it, but we tried to download the Alexa app on her Note 5 or Samsung Note 5. And guess what? She couldn't do it. It's not supported.
Maybe is that an older machine?
Yeah, it's the 5. And now what's taken over the Notes is the Ultra, the S22.
Yeah, the 5 is an old machine.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And they're not supporting it.
Yeah.
But Alexa did exist back then. But it's Alexa Music, video, or what have you, but then it's just a straight Alexa app.
Right.
I keep telling her I need to get you a new phone.
I want to just introduce Jim and Chris Gould. They're on, I see that they're here today. Chris will be talking on smartphones and how to use your smartphone on the December the 5th. They had a great show this Sunday, and they have their
Yeah, you scared her there. She thought that
I thought you were going to say I was supposed to talk today.
and they have their aquarium going in the background.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I enjoyed your show on
That's
Sunday.
video from our scuba diving. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I missed your show yesterday, but I had my own going on.
Well, we're
you have
sorry
an
we missed your
excuse.
show too.
Unfortunately, you missed both of them.
Well, it was a good show,
Not
Hewie.
because I didn't want to make it.
Yeah. Where's Jolyn? Is Jolyn here today? She was doing the same thing I was, is she had one on one screen and you on the other one, and they had Hewie on the other one. Because I caught her. She was actually she was making comments on both. She was going from one to the other. And I was watching her comments. And I thought she must do the same thing. She must have one show on one screen. And I'm sure she did that.
Yeah, I watched the show yesterday, and I really appreciate that it's now an hour earlier than it used to be, because I can now attend because it's not during my lunch hour.
Oh. Okay, good.
Good stuff.
So where's the phone?
So we'll be getting going in about 10 minutes. We've started the YouTube feed. So we're broadcasting over to YouTube. We have a big show for you today. If anyone is new here, wants to comment, say hello, please raise your hand like Greg just did. And Greg, go ahead.
Hey, Chris, when you were taking those pictures underwater, did you feed that eel?
Chris was not taking those videos.
He was.
Well, did Chris feed the eel?
Yeah, she fed my arm to the eel. I have scars to prove it too.
When many years ago, I was down in the Caribbean and we dove on a ship called the Rhone. And I don't know, for those people who have seen The Deep with Jacqueline Passette, we actually fed that little eel. He's about 2.5 feet long. And they prompted us and tell us exactly what to do and how to hold it. So I asked the guy, I said, when in the movie, they had one of the guys that the eel bit and chew his head off. And he laughed and he said, yeah, they made a little mannequin out of liver, frozen liver, and they fed it 4 or 5 times to him. And then they did a close up and they had little kind of food clothing on the little mannequin. And boy, that sucker just ripped him right apart. But anyway, very gentle, he came up and laid right on my arm and ate the food. It was really something.
Yeah, they're amazing creatures. We have really nice moray eels right here off of Fort Lauderdale for diving. And these in Cozumel, there were not as many, but they were just as pretty.
But he has actually been bit, but it was his fault.
Yeah.
He was reaching.
It's always my fault.
He was reaching
No
for
matter
the
what.
same lobster that the eel wanted. So
She tells stories. Don't believe a word she says.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine. I bet your teeth are sharp. They probably can do a nasty, a lot of damage to your hand, eh?
Three stitches.
Yeah, but you were bleeding in the water. That's sharks. Isn't it sharks going to come?
Oh yeah, every time. I lost a leg one time
Yeah.
because the sharks bit it off, and they grow back.
Actually, I read that is a wives' tale.
Yeah, they don't.
They
care
have
about
done
us.
studies. The sharks are not interested in human blood,
Oh,
They
really?
like fish. They like fish blood.
but they can sense
They know the difference.
fish blood and go after it like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
I
don't
don't
believe
care.
everything
When I
you
was
read on
under
the
it and I
internet.
saw a
Okay.
shark, it still made me nervous. We dived off of Catalina and a bunch of sharks were in that area.
Really, sharks
I
in the
know,
ocean?
50,
Wow.
I saw them and got scared.
Greg,
We
go
love
ahead.
seeing sharks.
Yeah, we went on a shark dive for her mom's 70th birthday and had a bunch of sharks in the water with us.
It doesn't sound so old anymore.
No, it doesn't. But yeah, it's hard to keep the hat. They didn't want to keep the hats on, and keeping the candles lit underwater is just not an easy thing. So. Greg.
Greg, go ahead.
Yeah, Jim, when you dove, were they used car salesmen around you? Were those the sharks?
Yeah.
Anyway, in my diving experience, and I've dove a lot, when the seals are around, no sharks are around.
Yeah.
When the seals are gone, the sharks are there.
There aren't any seals in the
Caribbean.
Caribbean. Yeah.
There are a lot of seals in California,
Yeah, that's true.
sea lions.
Yeah, I
They're
don't.
big suckers too, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're up. We
Be
have
out
them up.
there in a seal costume. I don't think that's wise. It's yeah.
The problem is seals like to eat salmon, and that's not a good thing, particularly in front of our hatcheries and stuff like that. They can be
I
a
like to
big-
eat salmon.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
But you don't want the seals to be eating the salmon, particularly not when you've been spending a lot of money raising salmon in the hatcheries and letting them out. So we have a lot of problem with seals around here.
So do you see where I talked about the Apple Watch as a dive computer?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, what they're not telling you is that the watch by itself is not a dive computer. You have to have the app, which isn't available yet, and that will be a subscription.
Oh,
Oh,
would
really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. I did not know that.
be cheaper to buy a good dive watch.
Oh yeah. Well,
Oh,
right.
interesting.
But if it's all built into your Apple, I still might do it, but I don't know.
I was old fashioned. I used my Timex. And it worked just fine back in the day with an inner tube and a pole spear gun,
Hmm.
Yeah, me and Jacques Cousteau, we used to do it that way too. Yeah.
Oh Lord, how time flies. Whew,
That's
it's scary.
So we figured out, or Chris figured out, that we've done together over 500 dives
as buddies.
wow.
But we both were diving a long time before we met each other.
There you go. Yes, indeed. It's well, you should bring your you can do some dives. There's some interesting places to do dives around here.
No,
thanks.
it's cold water. No,
It is cold, so you need a
No.
wetsuit.
no,
Yeah.
we don't do cold weather diving.
Well, it's interesting. One of my students is from Belgium. And I introduced him to diving here, and he said he couldn't believe that, we could just use a wetsuit. And he had a full dry suit that he finally said, I've got it, I'm going to use it. Because the water got pretty cold during the winter and he wanted to dive. I've never used a dry suit, but wetsuits seem to work pretty good.
I never had a dry suit.
There was one diver in the cenotes that used a dry suit.
Yeah,
It was 74 degrees. That's not so bad.
Well,
but if you're in there a long time, it
well, yeah.
But I like it. 83 was the ocean. That's my temperature.
water and air. It was perfect. And
So I know that we're talking about Geeks on Tour. They are so close to getting to 10,000 subscribers. So if you are listening and you do listen to their show and you haven't subscribed, please do that, because they are just about over the 10,000 mark, and
Where's
that's
that
really
dollar?
a big accomplishment.
I'd like to
You should
hit
give a
1,000.
book away to your
Thank you,
10,000
Ron.
subscriber.
To the 10,000.
Yeah.
I'd like to hit 1,000. I'm at 7 something.
here's your dollar, Ron. Thank you.
Very good. Well, for those of you who are waiting, we've got 2 minutes to go, and then we'll get on with the show. We have a big show for you today. I think you'll find it entertaining, and we should have a good time. So we'll actually 1 minute. I'm going to mute everybody now, and we'll get ready to roll. Good morning. I'm Ron Brown. I'll be your host today. This is Tech for Senior, episode 137th, November the 14th, 2022. I want to thank everybody for coming today. We do appreciate that. We'll be with you for the next hour or a little more than an hour. We're going to start with the security news with Bob. I'm going to talk about, or Huey's going to talk about watching free movies. I'm going to talk about a favorite app of mine, Flight Radar 24. Bill James is going to be here talking about Windows tips. Then we're going to close with Ray's music. So we should have a great show for you today. If you are listening to this on YouTube, thank you for coming. If this is a YouTube short, thank you for watching, and just click the link and you'll take you right to the show. Today, we also have at 1:30 premiere event and our premiere video, and I will be putting the link in the show notes for this and also in the chat. Today on the premiere video, I'll be talking about tips for online shopping. Hey, Black Friday's coming, lots of shopping opportunities. I'm going to give you some tips on that. Huey's going to talk about the Internet Archive. Oh my gosh, that must be a big place, Hewie, that where they archive the internet. And Bob's going to talk on phishing, the tip of the iceberg, and give you some tips on that. All that will be at 1:30 on our premiere service. Our premiere service, of course, is a video that we play. The link goes out in our Saturday newsletter. So we have a newsletter. Yes, it's an ad-free and free-to-you newsletter. So if you, that comes out twice a week. It comes out on Tuesday and Saturday. So we put the schedule for our show today. You can see if you do read the Saturday newsletter, you can see what the schedule is going to be today. And I do put the link to the premiere service in the Saturday newsletter. As an addition to the Saturday newsletter, I will be adding a feature that will be I guess I'm going to call it Ron's Channel of the Week, or Ron's Interesting Channel. I haven't got the name yet, but I was thinking earlier today, I subscribe to over 450 channels on YouTube. I have a lot of interest, from cooking to flying to aircraft to all sorts of things. And so I have all these channels, and I'm going to showcase one a week. I should never run out, trust me, on this one, but it'll be an interesting channel, and I'll put the link to the channel, tell you a little bit about it and why I think it's fun to watch, and you'll be able to bookmark that or keep it for future use. And I'm gonna add that in our Saturday newsletter. We have, of course, next week will be Mike Ungerman will be talking on his second installment of EV cars. So we look forward to that, and that will be our main topic next week. And of course, as I mentioned earlier in the show, Chris Gould will be talking on December the 5th on tips for your smartphone camera. So lots happening. We have busy time over the next month, and we even have some Thanksgiving in there. So I thought I would mention, yes, we are going to be running a show through the week of Thanksgiving. We'll certainly do our Monday show, and we will also do our Thursday show. We've done that for the last 2 years. We've done the Thursday show, and whoever shows up, maybe it'll just be me, but I think Bob and Hewie are going to be there. Maybe even Ray is going to be there. Hopefully we'll have a group there today on our Thursday show. So we will be doing that for Thanksgiving week. So please come and listen.
And I'll be there.
Pardon me? Who's that? Is that Bill?
Bill.
Bill? Okay, great. Now, of course, we have, let me introduce our panel today. Of course, we have my co-host today, Hewie Poplock. Hewie, you had a big weekend.
Oh, every weekend I think is, but yeah, I did the Windows SIG for CFCS and Stug yesterday. We had a nice crowd, and then right after that was the main meeting of CFCS, and Ray Baxter did a great presentation for that, and I'll have the recordings for both of those up on the CFCS channel in the next day or two.
So we often get people asking how they can join. I guess they would just go to hewie.net and register, eh?
They register for the newsletter, and the newsletter will give them the link where they get register for the shows. Yes.
Right. The other thing is, I guess we should remind everybody that there's no Learning Chromebook this month, right?
That's correct.
So if you are wondering what happened to Learning Chromebook, we decided to take, because it's going to fall right on Thanksgiving, we decided to take a holiday from Learning Chromebook in this month, right?
Yep. It would be right in the middle of your meal, and I don't think a lot of people would give up their meal on Thanksgiving to watch us.
Well, come on, Hewie. I'm probably, eh? All right. Thanks a lot. And of course, Bob, how the heck are you still? How's the voice? Are you getting better?
Getting better. Yeah. My wife isn't. Both of us, unfortunately, tested positive for COVID. But what else is new? That's part of life.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to let you rest your voice. I know I won't let you.
Yep.
I won't belabor that. Ray, now you of course were the star again on Saturday or Sunday, I guess, right? You're always Sunday. The star. You're the star on Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday was the APCG annual board meeting, in addition to the Saturday safari presentations we're doing on a regular basis now. And that we had probably 100 folks tuning in, and that was long and very worthwhile. And then, of course, yes, I'm happy to be with Hewie and his club, the Central Florida Computer Society, on Sunday, going over my music presentation, which I'm finding almost every week I need to update it because there's always something changing. The most recent change with Amazon Music. So that was really a lot of fun, and I appreciate the opportunity to do that.
Indeed. And we also have Bill James. Where's Bill? Bill, why?
I'm here.
Where the heck are you?
I'm at the computer club.
Put your hand
We're
up.
still.
I can't see you on my screen.
Oh.
I don't know where the heck I made you co-host, so I don't know why I can't see you, but put your hand
He's working on it.
There you go. I can see you now.
I'm sorry. I'm still at the computer club giving Windows 11 classes.
Well, I hope you get really good because you're doing one here in about 20 minutes.
I know.
There you go.
And we have snow in the forecast. It's supposed to arrive probably an hour from now.
All right. Well, very good. We look forward to learning something about Windows 11, and we'll I have you on for about 9:40. Is that okay?
That'll be fine.
Right. Speaking of snow and someone looking very cold, Mike Ungerman, do you get snow where you are?
No snow here in Orlando. Thank you.
No snow in Orlando. All right. Well, listen, Mike, we look forward to talking about EV cars next week.
The focus in next week's presentation will be on the changing model of purchasing your automobile, whether it's an EV or not. But because more and more manufacturers of EVs are selling direct to the public, I have one right behind me, which is the new Fisker. We'll be talking about what's happening across the industry.
That's great, Mike. And since I'm going around looking for an EV car right now, I'm going to be all ears on this. It's amazing when you go to the different dealerships, the different responses you get.
Yep.
So that's good. We look forward to that. So we're going to move on. This is usually where I say, I'm going to take it away for Bob. Let me see what Bob has to say for this week. Here it is.
Here is the Avast Security News Roundup for the week ending November 11th, 2022. The U.S. seizes over 50,000 bitcoins worth over $3.3 billion linked to Silk Road dark web. The U.S. Department of Justice on Monday said it seized 50,676 Bitcoin in November 2021 that was stolen in the 2012 hack of the now defunct Silk Road dark web marketplace. The Bitcoin, which was obtained in 2012 and valued at $3.36 billion when it was discovered last year, is now worth $1.04 billion. Additionally recovered were $661,900 in cash, 25 Cassius coin with an appropriate value of 174 Bitcoin, and gold and silver colored bars. It's also one of the largest cryptocurrency seizures to date, followed by the confiscation of $3.6 billion worth of Bitcoin earlier this February, tied to the 2016 breach of the Bitfinex crypto exchange. Read more at the Hacker News. Mysterious company with government ties plays key internet role. An offshore company that is trusted by the major web browsers and other tech companies to vouch for the legitimacy of websites has connections to contractors for U.S. intelligence agencies and law enforcement, according to security researchers, documents, and interviews. Google Chrome, Apple Safari, nonprofit Firefox, and others allow the company Trust Core Systems to act as what's known as a root certificate authority, a powerful spot in the Internet's infrastructure that guarantees websites are not fake, guiding users to them seamlessly. The company's Panamanian registration records show that it has the identical slate of officers, agents, and partners as a spyware maker identified this year as an affiliate of Arizona-based Packet Forensics, which public contracting records and company documents show has sold communication interception services to U.S. government agencies for more than a decade. Read the whole story at the Washington Post. Install latest Windows updates as soon as possible. Microsoft's latest round of monthly security updates has been released, with fixes for 68 vulnerabilities spanning its software portfolio, including patches for 6 actively exploited 0 days. 12 of the issues are rated critical, 2 are rated high, and 55 are rated important in severity. This also includes the weakness that were closed out by OpenSSL the previous week. Also separately addressed by Microsoft Edge at the start of the month is an actively exploited flaw in Chromium-based browsers that was plugged by Google as part of an out-of-band update late last month. The big news is that 2 older 0-day CVEs affecting Exchange Server made public at the end of September have finally been fixed. Greg Weissman, product manager of Rapid7, said in a statement shared with the Hacker News. Year of the Sack. Meta joins the spree with massive cuts. Big Tech is in trouble. For the first time in their history, giant U.S. technology firms are either announcing massive layoffs or pulling thousands of new job offers from the market. The latest news comes from the office of Meta. Mark Zuckerberg, chief executive of Meta, told hundreds of executives on Tuesday that layoffs are to begin early Wednesday, and they did. Meta announced that more than 11,000 of its employees, about 13%, are being let go. Layoffs at Meta are the largest cuts in the tech sector to date. I want to take accountability for these decisions and for how we got here. I know this is tough for everyone, and I'm especially sorry to those impacted, Zuckerberg said in a blog post. A trend of layoffs and hiring freezes signals that the good times in big tech are over for now and for various reasons, such as obvious overstaffing and the need to cut costs in the shadow of a possible global recession, even if the latter is not yet. See more at Cyber News. In elections, it's easier to hack a human than a device. The FBI and the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency said that no existing reports show that cyber activity has ever compromised voting infrastructure or prevented a voter from casting a ballot. Yet, in a separate statement, they warned of another threat to the integrity of the voting process: disinformation, misinformation, and troll farms. For Daniel Smith, the head of research at Radware Cyber Threat Intelligence Division, which offers security solutions to companies, hacking elections is also not simply about infrastructure, whether that be ballots or even electoral systems. It's about the minds of those who choose their candidate, and it's about the ease with which these minds can be manipulated. Read more at Cyber News. Tumblr will sell you 2 useless blue check marks for $8. The Tumblr Important Blue Internet Check Mark is the latest of a few joke items Tumblr sells on its web store, and it does about what you would expect. Add a blue check, actually 2 blue checks, next to the blog of your choice. In case it's not 100% clear, this is a complete vanity purchase that confers no special status and requires nothing except paying around $8. Where Twitter's new verification plan gets you some extra site features via Twitter Blue for $8 a month, your only perk here is that the badge may turn into a bunch of crabs at any time. If your Tumblr hasn't been updated since 2014 or so, this references an on-site April Fool joke. Read more at The Verge. This week's must-read on the Avast blog. Shortly after acquiring Twitter, Elon Musk announced that Twitter will be launching an $8 monthly subscription that gives users the ability of buying a verified Twitter account, otherwise known as a Twitter Blue. Currently, this functionality is available in the US, Canada, UK, Australia, and New Zealand. Unfortunately, these verified accounts are now being abused. Read the article at the link listed. Did you know that 90% of the world's data was generated between 2019 and the present? The first Apple logo featured Sir Isaac Newton sitting beneath a tree, with an apple about to fall on his head. Just thought you might want to know. My voice is fading, so is this week's Avast Security News Roundup. Let's hope next week both are in better shape. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you, Bob. Hewie, are you, how's your voice? Are you okay?
Pretty good, yeah.
Are you ready to roll?
Yep.
Okay.
Let me find it here. I do want to preface before I start this that for time constraints, I had to delete 5 of the sources of free movies, and they are included in the recording that I have on my YouTube channel, but will not be as part of this. So let's go ahead and start. How to add streaming services to your smart TV. This is part 2, websites to legally watch free movies online. I'm Hewie Poplock. In part 1, we added a streaming service to a Fire TV and a Roku TV. Here in part 2, we'll look at several free streaming services to watch movies, TV shows, sports, and more. I needed to add a couple of items to part 1 before I start with part 2. Sometimes you have to activate a service. It'll put up an activation code, which you then have to go to a website and type in that code. As soon as you do, you have access to that service. You can also watch TV on your PC, your Mac, your Chromebook, or Android phone or iPhone. Here is an example on Pluto TV. You can look at the schedule and watch a movie and then full screen the movie if you wish. Here are some websites with free movies. Those in bold are ones that I have on both of my TVs. Here are the links to all of them. I will post them on my YouTube channel. It might be time to say goodbye to Netflix, Hulu, or Disney Plus, especially if you're trying to lower your monthly costs. You'd be surprised how quickly all of those services can add up and match your cable bill. Luckily, you can keep your spending in check and still get your cinema fix. There are plenty of places online to stream movies and TV shows for free legally. And here are some of the best options. Hoopla. Many people don't know that their local library card can get them more than just books. If your local library supports it, you can also gain access to a couple of different services that let you watch free movies online, and Hoopla is one of them. Hoopla features tons of free movies and TV shows online and through its mobile app. Beyond movies, Hoopla also has tons of ebooks, comics, music, and audiobooks so that it can become your one-stop entertainment shop. Keep in mind that Hoopla works kind of like a standard library, so you'll only be able to borrow a certain number of movies, TV shows, or books and have a set time to finish them before you have to check them out again. Here's a screenshot of Hoopla. Amazon Freevee, formerly IMDb TV, is one of the best websites for movie lovers to catch up on all sorts of movie and celebrity-related content. It offers local movie showtimes and ticketing, trailers, movie critic and user reviews, personalized recommendations, and even a robust library of free movies online. The service comes bundled together with Amazon Prime memberships too. It features fun family favorites, but it also has many cult classics as well. Whatever kind of mood you're in, you can bet Amazon Freevee has something for you. And here is a screen capture of some of what's available on Freevee. Popcorn Flicks. Popcorn Flicks is a straightforward video streaming service to watch free movies online. It hosts tons of films, TV shows, and documentaries. The service has been around for nearly a decade now, but the library seems to have made a recent move towards B-movies. It features a well-organized directory to quickly peruse the various genres you're interested in, including new arrivals, foreign films, and even Popcorn Flicks originals. And here is a screen capture. Canopy. Just like Hoopla, all you need to get up and going with Canopy is a library card. We can't guarantee every library supports it, but Canopy is a treasure trove of free movies online if yours does. You may also be able to tap into Canopy's library through your school or university. You can access Canopy online or through the service's mobile app, and there are more movies than you could ever hope to watch. Plus, Canopy's movie selection is top-notch, featuring award-winning films from studios like A24. Plex. Plex is a valuable tool for people who want to access their personal media library from anywhere in the world. But that's not all it does. Plex now has its own online ad support media library, so users can watch tons of free movies online without having their own collection. This selection of free content fits seamlessly within the existing Plex interface so that you can access it either from the app or within a browser. Whether you're already a longtime Plex user or you've never heard of it, this new movie selection is worth a look. Pluto TV. One itch most streaming services don't scratch is the need to channel surf like you can on cable television. That's where Pluto TV comes in. Pluto TV features tons of free movies, TV shows, and cartoons online and through the Pluto TV app, but it presents them in a way that's more akin to a classic cable. Pluto TV has a section where you can stream content on demand, but it also features more than 250 channels that you can tune into to watch at previously scheduled times. Naturally, that comes with a few downsides, but if you're looking for a one-to-one replacement for your existing cable service, Pluto TV has you covered. Tubi. Tubi TV has been around since 2014, and since then, the service has grown to become one of the highest quality free movie streaming services you can find online. What's excellent about Tubi is that it offers some of the overall best films on this list. It also boasts various genres you won't find on many other free services like LGBTQ, home and garden, reality TV, and musicals. It also has many hand-curated collections, so if you have difficulty finding what you want to watch, Tubi will help you narrow it down. There's also a growing number of exclusive movies on Tubi. YouTube. YouTube is chock full of content creators, vloggers, and even original content. But what people might not know is that YouTube also offers a library of movies and TV shows beyond YouTube originals. Within that online library, there is an entire selection of movies you can watch entirely for free. Though the free library isn't the largest on this list, you'll find horror films, comedies, action flicks, dramas, and even children's movies. So the next time you check out the Android Authority YouTube channel, be sure to scout out YouTube's free movie library. The Roku channel. You can watch a bunch of free movies and TV shows on the Roku channel. The streaming service also gives you free access to live TV. There is no subscription fee involved, and you can watch the free titles available on the service through your Roku device, other streaming devices, or even a web browser. The service even has a few exclusive new movies you won't find anywhere else. Peacock. Peacock is a streaming service run by NBC Universal. The platform lets you watch around 13,000 hours of content for free, including feature films and TV shows like This Is Us, Law and Order, SUV, and more. The only caveat is that you'll have to watch some ads while binging it for free. Limited content on Peacock is available for free, no credit card required. You just need an email address and a password to sign in to access thousands of hours of great entertainment instantly. Vudu. Vudu is mostly known as a place to rent or buy digital movies and TV shows. However, it also has a growing number of films and TV series you can watch for free with ads. Best of all, if you really like a movie you watch for free, you can always purchase it so you can watch it without ads and not have to worry about it disappearing from the free library. Zumo. Zumo is owned by Comcast, which also owns Peacock. Zumo has a number of older and more recent movies to watch, although most are not as high profile or have as high review scores as you can find on Peacock. However, Zumo does have a small number of exclusive films to watch. This has been Websites to Legally Watch Free Movies Online, which is part 2 of how to add streaming services to your smart TV. I'm Hewie Poplock. There you go.
Thanks, Hewie.
Yeah,
Well,
and I'll put in the chat box, the list and the links to each of those, as well as the ones that weren't on there.
Great. You know, when am I going to have enough time to watch all those movies?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
That's
You,
the
if you
problem.
watch Tech for Senior, your time is all gone. If you watch all of the 130 some odd,
Yeah, there's 137
issue.
editions. Yeah, we can.
that's 130 hours or more.
All right. Okay, let's move on. Hey, I got to tell everyone this is I wanted to do this video for a while now, and it's all about one of my favorite apps that I use. So let's see what I have for everyone today, and let's share the screen. The Royal Air Force flight carrying Queen Elizabeth's coffin from Edinburgh to RAF Northolt near London set an all-time flight tracking record on flight radar with 5 million people following. 4.79 million people viewed the flight across Flight Radar 24's web and mobile app service, and a further 296,000 followed the flight via YouTube live stream. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. As a flight surgeon, I've always been interested in aircraft. I use Flight Radar 24 all the time and made this video just so you'll be aware of this software. I use the free version and have no affiliation with Flight Radar 24. If you like this video, we'd sure appreciate the like and subscribe. Flight Radar 24 is one of my favorite apps and is available on Android or iOS. It also has a website and can be accessed on any device. Over 50 million people have downloaded the app from the Android Play Store, and it remains one of the most popular services for tracking flights. So in 2006, two Swedish aviation enthusiasts got together. They formed a company called Flight Radar 24, and by 2009, it was ready to go live. So what did they do, and how did this all come to pass? All aircraft broadcast a signal. This signal is called ADS/B. And in this ADS-B signal, there's a lot of information about the aircraft. This is speed, height, direction, etc. A lot of information is broadcast, and every single aircraft flying, all 180,000 in the air right now, broadcast out this information. What these two people were able to do was to develop a receiver to receive this information. These receivers could be produced at a very low cost and were initially distributed through Europe. This quickly allowed them to track and locate all the aircraft with speed, direction, etc. for each individual machine. So at time of launch, Flight Radar 24 was able to show you the tracking of, mostly in Europe at that time, of planes that were flying in different locations. This quickly expanded over the next few years to a worldwide service. These small receivers, about 30,000, were produced at a very low cost and could be put in people's homes, or they could be put in very small locations. But as long as they were distributed around the world, they would receive this data that the airplanes were broadcasting, and this would go into the main computer at Flight Radar 24 and would be broadcast out for you to see in the form of a radar signal. It's not really radar, but when you look at it, it looks like a radar screen. This service has become extremely popular. It's used worldwide by airlines, accident investigation, transport companies, the public. Everybody uses Flight Radar 24. Yes, it is used worldwide. The unique thing about this app is that it's free. Yes, you can download it. Now, there are some paid features, which we'll discuss in a few minutes, but it is a free app. So I would encourage you to download it And let me explain how this differs from regular information you might get about your flight and why this is important to use if you're going to an airport. So let's have a look at this. So if you go to an airport and you're traveling, the first thing you do when you get there is you look at the arrivals screen and find out if your plane is on time. This is usually a large screen at the right when you come into the airport, and you'll see all the airlines have their arrival and departure times. It's often very confusing because there's so many. Now, the information that is put into this screen is from the airlines. These screens and information services are usually owned by the airport, and the feeds that go into this are from the airlines. This is important because we'll talk about this in a minute. Now, the airports all have websites, so you also can get this information from the airport website under the arrivals and departure section. But the information fed into their website is the same information that gets into those large screen TVs in the airports. Another way that you might get information, and probably the best, is from an app on your phone related to that specific flight you're taking. So if it is an American Airlines flight, then there will be an American Airlines app, and you can actually receive information right from the airline in that app regarding your flight. So if you are traveling, it is important that you download the app, and that's one of the best ways to get information about your flight. So when things are going well, that's fine, but there often is crisis. There could be bad weather and a lot of flights getting canceled. There could be an electronic problem and an airline can't load their flights. There can often be a big disaster when you get to the airport and you look on that screen and it says pending, unavailable, rescheduled. There's something there, and you look up at that screen and you think, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to stand in line for hours to figure out what's going on. Well, there is another way that you can get information, and that, of course, is with Flight Radar 24. Because remember now, Flight Radar 24 is giving you information that's coming not from the airline or the airline input. You're getting this as data from the plane as it flies. So you will know exactly where that plane is in the sky and if it has left the previous destination. Now, as you track that plane across the skies, it will also give you a very accurate time of arrival. The time of arrival is when the wheels touch down on the landing surface. This is not the arrival time at the gate. The arrival time at the gate is the one that the airlines use on those big TVs. Remember, on a large airport, the airplane is going to have to taxi quite a long way to get to the gate, and you're assuming the gate is empty. If there's two planes waiting at that gate to unload passengers, the actual time at gate may be different. But in a pinch, when you're looking in the airport and you're on those big screen TVs and you want further information, Flight Radar 24 is great. Plus, it gives you accurate information that doesn't come from the airlines. If they tell you that that plane is going to be there in an hour, but you look on Flight Radar and it's still 4 hours from the airport because you can see it in the sky flying, then you know things aren't exactly as the airline is telling you. So that's why Flight Radar is such an important app to have, particularly if you're traveling. All right, so you're tracking a plane with Flight Radar 24. How would you like to sit in the captain's chair? Yes, you can sit in the captain's seat and view as the pilot would see looking out through the cockpit. Or you could be in a chase plane behind and actually have a view of the plane from above. Or you can be in front of the plane and see all the spectacular scenery just as the pilot would be seeing it as he's flying. On Flight Radar 24 of the free version. But it's amazing the graphics that you can see. And as your loved one is traveling on a flight across the ocean or landing in Hawaii, you too can be watching the same scenery that they are as well. It's amazing. And the graphics are really good, even on your phone. It's truly unbelievable. And no, you do not get to fly the plane. You have to have a pilot's license to do that. So give it a try. It is a lot of fun. It certainly is something you should be using if you're at an airport, and something I use all the time. It's free and available to download either as an Android app or as iOS. All right. So there may be some questions about that, and we'll certainly talk about that in the Q&A. Now, where did Bill James go? Bill James, are you here?
I'm here.
Hey, put your hand up. I
Oh,
can't see you.
all right.
There you go. Hello, Bill.
How are you?
I'm doing good. All right. Are you going to teach us something about Windows 11?
I'm going to make an attempt.
Okay.
I'm going to
we're
do
all
this.
ears. We're all ears.
I'm going to do this live. So
Okay. Sure. Go ahead.
just, I'll share
just
my.
make sure I made you co-host, so you should be fine.
I'll share my screen. Okay. Windows 22H2, the latest update to Windows 11, made some welcome changes to the initial release of Windows 11, particularly with the start menu. So with the start menu, you now can do some customization to this. As you see, I currently have 3 rows of pinned apps, and there's 3 rows of recommended, which I think this is more appropriately titled as recent, but these are some of the documents and other things I've recently worked on, and they're showing under here as recommended. But if I go to personalization, in settings, and here at the start menu, you see now I can make changes to the number of roles I have over the default. So now I can have like 4 rows of pinned apps and 1 row of recommended or suggested, or whatever you want to call these recent applications that I've looked at. Or I can do and have more recommendations just by merely selecting that particular option. And if I go here to my start menu, you see now I have a lot more apps that are in view. And likewise, I can go to more recommendations. And if I go to my start menu, I have more recommendations and less pinned. So it's all depends on how you wish to use this. One of the other things that has that's a welcome change is that now I can create folders by just pulling an app on top of one. So if I want to group my Microsoft applications all together, I can put them there, and now I can have a folder, and I can have these all grouped together. And then I guess I can also move this whole thing, if I like to, any place else I like to be on the screen. So that's a new addition, which is quite welcome. One of the other things that we have that's we can do with the start menu, we can show more recently added apps. If we don't want that, we can turn that off, and that will change the view of that as well. So there's a lot of customization. Also, something that I like to do is that here in the folders, when I click this, it allows me to select what folders I want to show on my start menu. For instance, I have my settings button here at the bottom rather than have it as an app. And I also have my network access, and this right here is documents. So I can launch these from here if I desire. But you can do that by going in the start personal and personalization start and folders, and make those changes. And of course, I think I've told you before that these sort of indicate where you are. They call them breadcrumbs. So if I want to get back to the personalization, I could just click here. It takes me one screen back. Or if I want to get to the home suite of settings, I can use the back button as well. One of the things that has always been a issue is how to go about changing your default apps. So I can go here and go to apps, and here choose default apps. And I have two choices. I can type, say for instance, if I wanted to find a make a Adobe my default PDF reader. As you well know, Edge also has that capability, but I want to use Adobe Acrobat. So I'm going to just type PDF here. And you notice that I've given a choice. It says PDF, so I choose that. And now I see I have Adobe Acrobat as one of my choices. I can go here and I can select it as being the default app and set as a default. Or I could also, if I wanted to continue to use, make Edge the default, I could do that, or any one of these others. That would also hold true. Say, for instance, if I wanted to have a default browser. So I'm going to go here and type here Chrome as my default browser, and it comes up as Chrome. I can then choose it, and it says make Google Chrome my default browser, and then I can just go here and select it as the default. But you also can select these as a default as by file type. So if you have a particular file type you want to use and use it with a particular application, you can also go and use that particular file extension as a default. And for those of you that have laptops, Microsoft has provided a new application, or at least an improved application for battery life visualization. So to get to that, you want to go to settings, system. And then over here on the left side, you want to go to power and battery. And here you'll see a graphic of how your battery usage is. On my laptop now, I have 60%. And then over here, it's showing me the battery levels that and how they were used. And I can go view detailed information if I like. And as you can see here, it tells you, gives you a snapshot of exactly how your battery is being used and what, how the applications are actually affecting your battery life. I know it's probably a little bit of trivia, but it's kind of interesting to be able to see how your power and battery is being used. You can also, it'll tell you, in this case, it says my screen brightness is too high, which uses more power than usual, and it gives me an opportunity to be able to lower that. I also can go here and change my screen and sleep power settings. When battery power is on, I can turn the screen on after and adjust the minutes for how it is when it's on battery power, when it's plugged in. It also has the option of choosing the power mode. So I can switch this to optimize between power and performance. So right now it's using the best power efficiency, but if I want best performance, I could also select that, or I could use balanced. You can also find out about power consumption, and then there is a battery saver to extend the battery life by limiting some notifications and background activity, and it will turn on at 20% of your battery. If you want to extend that, you can change that as well. So there's quite a different options for having your laptop, so using your laptop battery for different situations. So that's really all I have today for our tips for Windows 11. The next time I'm hoping to be able to give you some tips on using the new File Explorer, which 22H2 incorporated tabs. And there's a couple other changes too as well. So we'll discuss those as part of our next discussion on Windows 11 tips. Back to you, Ron.
Thanks, Bill. That's great. Wow. I've been following you along, looking at, oh, I got to try this and try this. That's great. Yes, thanks. Thanks so much. Ray, just before we get going, I just want to say goodbye to our YouTube fans. I'll be stopping the stream in a moment. Thank you for coming. Don't forget, I put the notes or the link in there for our premiere service if you have to leave and come back. If you want to participate in the Q&A, just pop over. We've got room in our Zoom meeting. Just come on over here and we'll let you in and you can participate in the Q&A and listen to Ray's music.